it's so nice to greet all of you together like this. I miss the Biltmore, where we spent so many years, but I can see that this is a much, much larger hall, and it gives us a chance to be together in this way. And my greetings to all of you who have come. Let me just sit down a minute. Let us all relax. Just to tell you a little story, when it was apparent that Guruji was singling Daya Mata out for some special kinds of discipline, it troubled me very much. And when I became president, it troubled me even more. But I had gone to Master's shrine and I had prayed very deeply. I don't want to get lost in this world. I had spent some 20-odd years in the ashram as a simple chela, simple disciple. And it is so easy when we get titles to lose our way. But when I reminded myself that those titles don't mean anything, and when I get to heaven, the Lord isn't going to say, now you presidents get on this side, you all get on this side. I said, let's just remember who we are. The greatest joy for me through all of these years has been to remember always that though I serve you all, though I serve Guruji's work around the world, my greatest joy has been to live as a disciple. There is so much freedom in that thought that I have nothing, I am nothing, but I am seeking one, and that is that great love which every one of you is seeking. So it's in that thought, in that consciousness that I always come to talk with you, devotees. I would stir your hearts with that kind of love which we experienced first at Guruji's feet. You know, as a young child going to Sunday school, I used to think, oh, if I could find one person who loves God as I want to love God. We need an example. We need someone to show us, how should I behave? What must I do to draw closer to God? And that was my consciousness as a young girl, visiting the different religious groups in the state where I was born. And I remember going home at night and thinking, but who loves God? I hear this marvelous speech from the scripture. I hear this spoken by this teacher, but who loves God? That's what it's all about. I don't need to be told how great God is. I know He's great. I don't want to be told even that He's omnipresent. I believe that. I want to be told that God is love. I don't want to be told that God is someone sitting off in space ready to punish me for all the little mistakes I make in this world. I want someone whom I believe really loves, who will take me in His arms, my beloved God, and say, my child, I forgive you. Don't make that mistake again. And then I can leave His arms and go off carrying on my duties in the world. When I met Guruji, as I've told so many of you through the years, he was speaking to a large audience like this. And as I entered the doors off in the distance and saw him sitting up on the podium, he was speaking with such firm belief, such conviction about God. As I stood there, I took one sacred vow. Him I shall follow. Him I shall dedicate my life to. I believe He can take me to God. And as many of you know, it was a few days later, through God's blessing, and God does bless us. If you really want something very badly, and above all, if you really want some experience of God, He does respond. But you must be sincere, you must be urgent about it, you must be unflinching in your pursuit, and then He responds. And so it was with me. And it was just a few days later that I had the courage to say to Guruji as I walked down the hall of this large building where he was speaking, very shyly said, I want so much to come to your ashram and give my life to seeking God. He didn't even know my name, but he turned and looked at me with such a piercing gaze, and he said just these words, and you will come. No more. And walked on. I remember thinking, how sweet he is. He doesn't know me, but see, he's trying, he's so gracious that he's saying this to me. I never mentioned to him again, when I had the chance, when I was recording his lecture, his classes, I never mentioned again to him my yearning to come. But I wanted it, my heart was breaking. Once having made up my mind, nothing was going to turn me away. And so, one day, several months later, he came to our home. It happened that our mother and our brothers and the sister had also studied his teachings, and we were just lifted up to heaven by the unfoldment of truth which he poured upon us. And he said to my mother, I don't understand. Your daughter, when she first met me, said, I want to come and give my life to seeking God. But she's never mentioned it since. Has she lost interest? Is it just a slight whim? And Mother looked at him and said, on the contrary, her heart is breaking. Well, why hasn't she said anything? She's never mentioned it since. Mother said, that's her nature. She mentioned it once, and you're not having mentioned it at all to her, bringing up the subject, she has accepted the possibility that you don't want her there. And Guruji said, well, has she finished school? Not quite, said Mother. Well, would you like her to come down for the Thanksgiving holidays? It must have been close to Christmas. The Mother said, yes, we will give her permission. Well, that was the beginning of a life which has spanned all of these years, a life that has been filled with such peace, with such joy, and with the fulfillment of his first promise, the promise you all received during this week, that you can know God, you can feel his presence, but you must do your part. I was thinking that while I was meditating in my room at Mount Washington, while you were having your Kriya today. And I thought, what can I say to these devotees? Well, let me give them something of the guidance that Guruji gave to us disciples. And these are simple. As some religionists go every day faithfully to Mass and wouldn't dream of missing it, as some religionists steadily read faithfully their lesson and put great store by that, so every true self-realizationist will do one thing. He will not begin his day without first having his divine communion with God. He needn't go to any point of space. He needn't leave his house. What he needs to do is sit quietly in some small corner of his home and take his mind away from this world. Begin to build that interior life. That's what we are all seeking. This world today, I saw this many years ago, the world has become rolling so fast. There's so many things going on in this world. There's so much confusion. There's so much that's wrong in the world. But still, it is possible. I think those things come, it's God's way of spanking us. Come back to me, my child. Get back to me. You've wandered too far away from me. Take a little time every day. I am sustaining you. It's because of me your breath goes. It's because of me this little heart beats and gives you life. It's because of my intelligence that you were able to use this mind to travel to distant stars. to create all the marvelous things that have made your world so wonderful but also so complicated. Make your life simple. That was the theme of Guruji in his teaching. Make your life simple. Simplify it. Don't feel you've got to have everything in order to be happy. But use your time in the morning. It doesn't have to be hours of long meditation. With many, it would be very difficult to do that now. But use that in the morning when you first awake. It's a wonderful thing to do. The moment I awake in the morning, my mind now just turns to God. My beloved, are you there? The sweet response in the heart, the sweet response in the consciousness, the sweet communion that passes between the chela, between the disciple and the beloved God. And having drunk deep from that fountain of inspiration, that fountain of strength, that fountain of wisdom, then to start the day's activities. And how? Every now and then, take time to think of God. It doesn't make you absent-minded. In fact, it strengthens the power of the mind. Take time to say, Lord, bless me. Lord, am I doing your will? And above all, is the greatest way to help yourself go in the right direction. Your conscience begins to say, not that, my child, not this, my child. If you would have peace in mind, follow this way. This might give you temporary happiness. This might give you temporary sense pleasure, but in the end, it will lead to the dark corridors of delusion. This way, my dear. And the more one tries to follow that inner guidance, which is the result of living a more interior life, the result of cultivating an interior life, the greater peace, the greater happiness, the greater sense of security, the greater freedom from worries, the greater reliance upon the only one in this world who can protect us from all harm, God and God alone. I love what Master said once to us disciples. You see, oh, it was so beautiful. I wish you were here to stir your hearts. He said, you see, everything in this world belongs to God. He knows more than you will ever know in 1,000 million incarnations. His wisdom is so much greater. He has so much power, so much more strength, so much more wealth than you could ever dream. Everything he has in this universe, but even he craves one thing. Even he feels some lack. And he asked his audience, what do you think it is? It says one thing, our love. When he said that, the tears rolled down my cheeks. Oh, what a thrill to love God, to think that we can give him something that he doesn't have, our love. We have the power to give it to him. We have the power to withhold it from him. And the more we learn to love him, the more we learn to think in terms of him, the more it expands our hearts to want to do for others, to want to do good to others, to want to give to others. It's the way Christ was. Because he had drunk deep from that divine well of inspiration, that divine well of spiritual strength, that divine well of love, he was able to feel love and compassion and forgiveness under the greatest of trials, the sacrifice of this little fleshly form, so that he could say, Father, forgive them, they know not what they do. Why? Because he felt that strength. He felt that deep inner connection between himself and his Father in heaven. And that is, as Guruji often said to us, it is for all of us. We are entitled to that. We are his children. All those who received him, to them he gave the power to be the sons of God. We, if we receive him, become his sons, not his lost sheep. And how do we receive him? as I said in the very beginning, by meditation, by practicing His presence throughout the day. It doesn't matter what your work is, whether you're in the kitchen, whether you're working in an office, whether you're speaking out before the multitudes, whether you're acting, whatever it is, in here you can carry, my God, my sweet Lord, my sweet God. How it changes life. Then life is sweet and death a dream when thy song flows through me. The more we relate everything in our lives back to Him, the greater is the sense of peace, security, and above all, we feel His love surrounding us. We feel His love percolating through our consciousness, and we find it is that love that draws unto us. True friends. Years ago, I said to Guruji, Master, I have one weakness. I have never wanted the world. I have never sought human love in that sense. But I have sought one thing. I am always looking for friends. That's the ideal of my life, because to me it's the highest relationship that one can have. It is not based upon any compulsion. It's freely given and freely accepted. And Guruji looked at me and he said, yes, but think first of the friend behind all friends. He answered my question. And I find today that in every country where I visit and wherever I go and whomever I meet, I find you are all my friends. I feel that bond amongst us all. And it's a wonderful thing. The more that we can spread that divine feeling, and it can only come again as we draw closer to God, the more we can spread that divine feeling of friendship, not concerning ourselves with creed, color, or what the shape of the eyes are, but rather what is in the heart, the more there will be peace in this world. And that's what a true follower of self-realization does. He first of all strives to manifest that in his own life. He tries to do good. He tries to do good to others. Above all, he begins that goodness in his own home. He doesn't wait until he gets out in the world and is good to others. You know, that's a very important theme today. First begin that understanding, that love, that compassion in one's own home, with one's children, with one's wife, with one's friends, so that it starts there, and from there it begins to branch out, so that it gradually includes the whole world. That was the love of Christ. That was the love that Guruji manifested in his own life during his lifetime. Let me read something that I picked up today. Guruji said, my only plan is to hold people by their own self-realization. He often said this, I have had crowds, he said, I have had them, but I'm not looking for crowds. I'm looking for souls. Is to draw souls by their own self-realization. If there are hundreds in my classes, all right. But if there are empty seats, it is all right too. I would rather have a few real souls than hundreds who lack that spiritual sincerity. The great purpose behind this movement of self-realization is to give people their own direct self-realization. When people will realize that it is their duty and privilege to know God, then a new era will come on earth. And again he said, and this I love to remind you all about, my body shall pass, but my work shall go on, and my spirit shall live on. Even when I am taken away from this earth, I shall work with you all for the deliverance of the world through the message of God and God's love. Well, dear ones, it has been a most thrilling experience to receive daily the reports about these classes. I have heard some of the teachers speaking. I think what I am grateful for in this society is that these teachers live the life that they speak about. They are deeply sincere. And it is that sincerity that draws all of you. Above all, it is the teaching of Guruji, which they express in their lives, which draws all of you. But each one of you, remember, you also are a teacher in the sense that when you go back to your homes, live what you have learned here. Do the best you can to apply it in your daily life. Don't be discouraged if you can't do it all. One does not take a giant step. One starts with little steps. And by those little steps, eventually he reaches higher and higher and higher. But have your daily meditation. The depth of meditation is important, as Guruji said. Often he said each day's meditation should be deeper than the previous day's meditation. When you close your eyes, forget the world around you. Throw off your mind all of the worries you've had, whether it be about work, finances, problems of a family, everything. Because one day, when we least expect, the Lord will call us and we will shuffle off this mortal coil and everything that goes with it. We won't remember anything. You know, I think that's one of the reasons in India, I don't say that I like the idea, but it's a good one. In India, many saints will go to meditate on the burning ghats in India. Why? Because there it reminds them of the futility of life, that everything comes to this. And one day we must all dump this flesh and move on to higher and higher realms. But the point is this: use your time to meditate deeply. Having meditated, and you begin to feel that wonderful peace within, that tranquility. Try to hold on to that as long as you can. It simply means one thing, that you have interiorized your attention more. Doesn't make you absent-minded, but you are like the snail. It doesn't go all the way out of the shell. If it does, it loses the shell. It goes out just a little way, but keeps its tail in the shell, doesn't it? It doesn't want to lose its little house. God is our little house. And we hold on to Him, and we retreat back into Him when the world gets too much trouble for us. So hold on to Him, practice His presence as often as you can throughout the day. It doesn't mean you have to give up anything, except if you have habits you think you ought to change them. Anything that takes one's mind and one's life away from God, forget it. Give it up. Anything that takes your mind closer to God, follow that. At the same time, carry on your duties, noble duties. Think of the ways in which you can do good every day. And last but not least, when you come home at night, and before you close your eyes, take a little time again to talk to God in the language of your heart. My God, my love, you are my life. You are my only love. Bless me, change my life. When you see things in yourself that you don't like, pray to Him about them and believe that He will change you. Have that faith. Faith is the beginning of the deeper relationship with God. And everyone must try to exercise that. We're all born with it, but so many of us have never exercised it, and that's why it lies dormant within us. But practice it. Practice it, first of all, in small things, and then you will be able to use it and bring into play in your life greater things. And remember these words of Guruji that he often uttered from the Gita. He who watcheth me always, him do I watch. He never loses sight of me. I never lose sight of him. I love that. It simply means this. The Lord is saying, you all who watch me, I always watch you. You will never lose sight of me, and I will never lose sight of you. Isn't that a beautiful thought to live with? Live with it. Think of it and practice it. He who watcheth me always, him do I watch. He never loses sight of me, and I never lose sight of him. That is the eternal promise of the divine beloved. Think of him. Cultivate love for him. And if your heart is dry, don't be discouraged about that. Give me love, Lord. Talk to him like a little child. Because before him we are all children. I love you, Lord. I love you. You are my life. You are my love. Without you, I could do nothing in this world. Cry to him like that. And you will find his sweet response within. He listens. He listens. In the words of Tagore, can you hear his silent footsteps? He comes, he ever comes. Such is the Lord. Listen through your devotion, through your attention for his silent footsteps, because he comes. He ever draws closer to the devotee who permits him to draw close. Well, my dear ones, can we just meditate for a few moments? Forget everyone around you. Think that you are here in the center of eternity. No one but yourself. And just behind this darkness of closed eyes is the divine beloved. My beloved God. My God. My God, my God. I love you, Lord. Mentally say this. I love you, Lord. I love you, Lord. Bless my life. Bless my loved ones. Bless my family. Bless my community. Bless my nation. Bless my world. Draw us all unto thee, O Lord. Shake us out of our delusion. Help us that we may more and more manifest thy love, thy peace, thy joy, thy wisdom, and above all, thy bliss in our lives. For we are thine, thou art ours. Let us all pray together. Pray with all the devotion of your heart, with all the sincerity of your soul. Heavenly Father, Mother, friend, my beloved God, Jesus Christ, Bhagavan Krishna, Mahavatar Babaji, Lahiri Mahashaya, Swami Sri Yukteswarji, Blessed Gurudev, Paramahansa Yogananda, saints of all religions, I bow to you all. Divine Mother, Divine Mother, Divine Mother, I lay the flowers of my devotion at thy feet. Bless me, that no matter where I go, and no matter what I do in this world, may the spotlight of my mind ever keep turning toward thee. For thou art my life. Thou art my love. May thy love shine forever on the altar of my devotion, and may I be able to awaken thy love in all hearts. Bless me, Lord. Bless me. Bless your world and everyone in it. Om Shanti, Shanti. Amen. May God bless us all. Well, dear ones, the more one lives in that love of God, the more one wants to reside in it. And I pray that all of you who have come from different parts of the country, that you may more and more experience that wonderful, wonderful love of my beloved. He is real, but you must draw him. He is very shy, as Guruji said. You must convince him you love him. You must be able to say, I love you, God. Don't be shy. I love you, Lord. All the love that I give to the world, all the love I give to my children, my wife, my husband, my parents, it comes from you. Why shouldn't I love you? Why should I turn my mind away from you and love only those gifts that you have given to me? You are my love. You are my love. But God bless you all. Well, God bless you as you go back to your homes after tomorrow. And I was happy to be with you, and I look forward to seeing you again. We meet again, won't we, here? Huh? All right, God bless you all. Jai Guru, Jai Guru, Jai Guru, Jai Guru, Jai Guru. I like coming and talking with you. It's because you don't expect me to lecture. I have to talk what's in my heart, and I don't prepare anything. If I had to prepare, I couldn't do anything. I must speak from what's here. And you're all so sweet and so receptive, and that touches me. You inspire me. Thank you.